Kearney's community radio station.
He looks to throw, looking deep downfield. He's got a receiver open. It is complete. That is Stevens for a touchdown.
The Bulldog Radio Network proudly presents the Coach Gray Show on 102.7 FM, Kearney's hometown radio station. And now, here are the hosts of the show, Mike Davis, Jim Dickerson, and Coach Josh Gray.
Yeah. Let me hear it. That is the live studio audience. I am your host, Mike Davis, but the star of this show is actually Coach Gray. We call it the Coach Gray Show for a reason. And today, Jim, would you know what today is? It's Senior Day at 102.7 here at the radio station. Senior Day. And why do you suppose it's Senior Day?
Because it's a tribute to old people such as myself.
Exactly right. And, do you feel sweaty and clammy at times?
I do.
Do your feet hurt?
And I have to go to the bathroom.
Right? I know. Exactly. I know that feeling. Well, let me tell you, the reason this is Senior Day is we have 5 seniors in studio with us. 5 of the Kearney Bulldog football players along with Coach Gray. But let me just introduce them real quickly. They don't have to, they're not in front of a microphone yet, but we'll make that happen. We've got Garrett Laughlin, we've got Corbin Bevan, Buster Lawrence, Evan Miles, and Jacob Stevens joining us today. And we're going to try and get every one of these fellows on the air, and you get to hear some of their thoughts over the football season and what they might possibly be doing next year. Coach Gray, thank you so much for being here, and thanks for rounding up these guys for us.
Absolutely. Good to be here. Back as well.
I'm glad you're here. Let's talk about the season. You went 5-5. I know it's not where you wanted to end up, obviously, but we saw a lot of good football. I'd love to hear just your thoughts on the season at large, in general. How do you look back on it?
Obviously, it's not being 5-5 was not our goal when we set out the season. When we started our workouts this summer, was not where we wanted to be at the end. But I think the one thing that I, being a week removed from our last game and kind of reflecting a little bit, back upon the entire season, it was about growth and about where we started and where we finished and how we finished, to be honest. And I know it wasn't the final outcome what we wanted, but I think our growth through the year was tremendous. And that's a testament to some of these guys that are here today that
right.
You're going to talk to. And it goes back to the rest of the team kind of following their lead and growing as a team. And that, it says a lot about the character of this group. This group's got a great character. It has a lot of great work ethic instilled in them. And the things that they left behind as a senior class, specifically talking about the senior class leaving behind, some great attributes to the program. And, I think if you look back to where we started and where we finished, kind of going back to the growth thing, we saw a lot of players, some young players grow through the season. We saw some of the guys you're going to talk today grow through the season and become leaders, become players that maybe they didn't think that they were going to be, and belief in themselves and believing in the program, believing in the system, and believing in the process in which, ultimately what football does and what we try to instill in our guys, that's going to take those lessons, life lessons that they learn throughout the season, later on in life when they, go to college, when they have a family, when they're in the workforce, whatever that is, that's what I feel football teaches you, a lot of those life lessons. And, anytime that we can do that and help instill that in them, and teach them, that's why we're in the business.
Yeah, there a couple of things. Number one was, I don't know if you remember back when we did the first show, the first Coach Gray show of the year, and I said it was my favorite show because it means football season starting. That doesn't mean this one's my least favorite because it is to a degree because it's over for a season, but I love the senior, the day when we bring all the seniors in. It's kind of I guess it's turned into a tradition, and we'll keep doing it. But the other thing was, one of the things that we talked about over and over, and not to dwell on one game, but was the fact that the way you teach the guys, and they've done it every time. They never, ever, ever give up.
Right.
And last week was a prime example, and they just kept going and kept going and kept going. And, football aside, what you're saying is absolutely true. That will pay off tenfold as you go on in life, as they go on. So a tribute to them for never, ever giving up, because we've seen teams that you guys have played, it'll get down and everything goes out the window. You got guys running over like crazy people and everything else. So,
and that's one of the things, we talked about at the end of the game. And, it's an emotional time when it's the final game of the season. And, the one thing that I was so proud of these guys and the team was not giving up. And when it could have been easy to tuck your tail and, well, that's it, we're done. And no, second half, we came back, we battled back, we fought until it said zeros in the fourth quarter. And, offensively, we kept driving, we kept pounding. Defensively, we kept grinding, we kept, making plays. There was never that, well, that's it, we'll just lay down and let the inevitable happen. No, there was still fight in them and not giving up and pride in what we do and pride in how we carry ourselves. And
let me just mention that because I think it's important. And I'm a homer. Okay, I admit it. You guys won the second half of that game. You outscored them. And that to me is just it's just I just wanted to point it out to folks because I don't know, it's easy to you forget these things, but we watched the game, we saw it, and yes, and please continue.
And that's right. I mean, it is. It's we didn't give up. But the bottom line is the score at the end of the game, and
right.
Exactly. We came up. We came up a little short. We didn't get the stops we needed. We didn't get the score. I mean, there's it's not just one thing that ever wins you a ball game. It's not one thing that ever loses you a ball game. And, we'll build on those things. And, and that's not to take away anything that the season that we had. We had a lot of great football games, a lot of hard fought games, a lot of bounce back, a lot of resiliency, a lot of, coming back after a loss the next game, finding ourselves again and, continuing to work and, our practices. And had we had another game this week, we would have bounced back and we would have been working just as hard as we did day one before the Jamboree or before week one against Harrisonville. I mean, it would have been the same. And that says a lot about this team and about the leadership on this team and about how our coaches coach and, it's still a never give up. And that's, contrary to belief, that obviously is not necessarily what we work for and how we play the game and what we're teaching and what we try to do during a week's preparation. And sometimes the execution isn't there and, sometimes it is. And, the consistency is a key factor. And I thought, I definitely thought we got better through the season as that went.
It showed.
I think, sometimes it's easy to, for outside people to point fingers and to do, and that's in my position. That
kind of comes with the job.
That comes with the job,
Yeah,
and I got thick skin, but
that shows that people care,
right?
I mean, they care. I mean, they care.
Right.
They care about the team, and they care about all that, and everybody cares obviously about results. But
sure,
it would be worse if everybody was like
whatever. That's right.
Care.
And the expectation of these guys and of this team and of ourselves as coaches is always higher than what anybody else thinks. I mean, I think your biggest person that's going to scrutinize you for me is me, and I mean, and that's anything with anybody that cares about something and passionate about what they do, and that goes with the job. But these guys are phenomenal young men, and they're going to move on. The senior class is going to move on to do some great things, and I'm very proud of them. I'm proud of the way we've handled ourselves. I'm proud of the way we've come back to work, and it's you never want to. It's never a goodbye. It's a see you later with a senior group, and these guys are definitely going to be missed by me and the staff, and being in that locker room, and when you're checking in your gear, that kind of final moment of
right.
That's a moment of joy.
Checking it in, and it's just not the same after you leave. And football's a special sport and the greatest team sport around. And just because of the things, that bond you build with your players, with the team, and amongst everybody, and that brotherhood and that family atmosphere that we try to instill in them. And we care about them regardless if they're playing on a Friday night. It's
right.
How are they doing in school, and still there to help them. So
interesting you say that too about the guys being, we'll see you later, because we talked about coaches last week. You've got a coach or two that's played on this team. That was a Kearney Bulldog.
Yeah, right.
And
you never know who's going to come back.
Yeah. So you like seeing the guys come back, and a big part, I think, of this the culture of this town of Kearney, Missouri is you want to kind of keep people around here. You don't want to raise kids to just leave town.
Right.
And this isn't that kind of a town. There's an important culture here that that makes people want to come back and raise a family here.
Absolutely.
So it's neat to see that.
That's why we've been here so long.
Right. Well, it's a good place to be.
It's a good place to be.
Absolutely right. Jim?
So, it's been a pleasure.
As always.
But let's move on to some seniors.
Yeah, absolutely.
But, congratulations on a great year. And we will look forward to talking to you shortly.
It won't be too long.
Yeah.
It won't be too long. And I, personally, I just want to thank you guys for all y'all for your support, for getting the kids on here, but talking about them each week, and your support through the year, and everything that you all do for us, and putting the games on TV, and taking your time to do that, because obviously you all care. Otherwise you wouldn't do what you do. And that means a lot. And it means a lot, obviously, to the football program, and to the school district as a whole.
Yeah, we love it.
It's our pleasure.
We have a great time.
Yeah.
And, your fan support is really good too, because we hear from them all the time. So, no, we have a great time doing it.
No doubt about it. And it's funny, and I'll just mention this real quickly, and we're going to go to Garrett Laughlin here in a minute. But I think, one of the things I admitted this to a couple of people, that I was listening to the replays on our podcast page of some of the games that Jim and I did last year from the previous year, because I was missing it. And it was like, oh, yeah, I remember that. So, yeah. So do we want to bring Garrett in, Brian? He's shaking his head yes. Let's do that. We've got Garrett Laughlin, and he is, it's funny, I printed out a roster just so I can give their numbers. Not that it matters. They're not wearing their numbers. So I have to, it's a little tougher for me to recognize them, although I know some of these guys. So number 32, Garrett Laughlin, who has been just an amazing athlete. And I think from Garrett, from where you came from the year before to where you are now, I think athletically and from the standpoint of your ability to train not only with the team, but I think you did some training on your own. You were a monster this year. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Good to have you here. And it reminds me of some of the things that I've got a ton of questions here, and I may double up on my questions. I've already indicated to these guys that I want to hear their answers to a few of these questions they have. But one of the things that I have for you in particular, Garrett, I know for a fact that you worked hard all summer long, and you frankly surprised me when I saw a picture of you, and I think it was from the time that you all spent up in Maryville. Scrimmaging and working out with some other teams and so forth. And I saw a picture of you, and I said, oh, my gosh. And I think I said something to your mother on Facebook, like, what on earth have you been feeding this boy? And talk to me a little bit about what you did over the summer and just your workout program, the regimen, and what you did to get in the kind of shape that you did.
A lot of it was just kind of all the mindset of, trying to get better every single day and what I wanted from this year. Now, we all wanted a state championship, and that was what I was kind of working at to get. So, even if I was dead tired and just had a lot going on, I would still go to the gym because I had that one goal.
Right. And so a lot of this was on your own. This was before organized activities, right?
Yeah.
So you went to the gym, and talk to me about one or two. Can you think of a moment back last summer when you just thought, you know what? I have worked out about as hard as I'm on empty right now. Can you think of a time like that when you just said that was the toughest workout I've ever had, or even in organized activities?
Oh yeah, for sure. But then, I mean, you look around and you see everyone else doing the exact same thing, so you got to get that thought out of your head.
It's funny. I had a suspicion you might answer the question like a winner. Is that right?
It's funny because when I go to the gym and I see, well, first of all, let's not lie. I haven't been to the gym in 40 years, but I've heard of them. And but when I see other people working out, you know what I do? I look at them and go, "Wow, look at that guy." And then I make my way to another area. But,
man.
So just an off-the-wall question. And going back, it was funny because the Jamboree thing, we were at the Jamboree, and Mike and I were sitting there with Brian, and we were like, who's that guy down there? And they're like, that's Laughlin. And I was like, no, he's smaller than that.
He's not that big.
Yes, that guy's huge.
Right.
But just thinking back, what's one of your favorite plays that you enjoyed this year? One of the biggest plays where you're like, man, I'll remember that forever.
It's probably my longest run against Belton.
Right. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And what happened? For those who don't remember.
Well, as soon as I got the ball, I saw my boy Big Jesus running through the hole, and I followed him, and their safety was coming down at me, and I knew he was going to try to take out my ankles, so I tried to kind of jump over his hands, and it worked.
Outstanding. Yeah, Jesus Ruscher, by the way, nice job that he did, and always giving credit to the blockers.
Mm-hmm.
You are listening to the Coach Gray Show. It's senior day here. We're getting ready to take a break. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Making our programming possible on KPGZ are these fine underwriters.
The Kearney Chamber of Commerce wants to thank you for supporting our local businesses. Kearney's friendly and authentic small-town atmosphere is created by our people and our distinctive shops, restaurants, and services. Local businesses contribute to our quality of life and to the character of Kearney. Shop local, eat local, enjoy local. It takes you to start the trend. Support the local businesses who support the area where you live, work, and play. This message sponsored by the Kearney Chamber of Commerce.
Mail-in rebates are a pain. Fill out the paperwork, and hopefully you'll get your money in 6 weeks. Kent Porter here for Porter's Building Centers with a solution to mail-in rebates. Ace Rewards from Ace Hardware. When you become a member of Ace Rewards, you'll get all the rebates instantly at the register. Plus, you'll earn points with every purchase, good for even more money-saving coupons. If you sign up today, we'll give you 1,000 free points just for joining. One more way Porter's and Ace save you money. Porter's Building Centers in Kearney. Porter's, we're here to help.
Singleton & Son is a company that's ready to help you maintain and improve your residential or commercial property. We're family owned and operated, which means we do all of our own work and we build our reputation with every job we do. Your satisfaction matters to us. Dirt and gravel, snow and ice, lawn care and landscaping. Singleton & Son is dedicated to providing Kearney and the surrounding area with quality services. For more information or an estimate, you can visit our website at singletonandson.com or call Jerry Singleton at 816-365-8220.
I'm Sean Barber, owner of Stables Local Kitchen and Patio in Kearney. Stables is a Kearney thing. We are all about our Kearney community. We love to be the place where people get together. Stables features a full menu with a scratch kitchen, offering lunch and dinner options, as well as a weekend breakfast starting at 8 a.m. on Saturday and Sundays. We are big believers in keeping it local. Stables has been a proud member of the Kearney community for almost 20 years, and we are very appreciative of the ongoing support from this wonderful community. You can check us out online at stables816.com, and Stables is part of the True 816 family. Eat, drink, local.
And welcome back to the Coach Gray Show. I'm your host, Mike Davis, along with my co-host and good friend, Jim Dickerson, along with producer-engineer Brian Watts, who's running the board for us, doing a terrific job, I should say, always. By the way, I wanted to mention Stables.
It's average.
He's slightly above average.
Average job.
Stables Bar and Grill, thank you so much, by the way. And the reason I'm mentioning them, because I heard your spot during the break, and just wanted to thank you guys for being a sponsor during football season on the Bulldog Radio Network. One of the reasons is I think pretty much all of these guys ended up as one of the Stables Player of the Week, with maybe one exception, but you were definitely on the list, and I'm looking at Evan Miles right now, and he was on the list, just know. So did I get that right, or did I mess up? Yeah, Evan. Yes, right. Yes. And so we got a studio full of guys, but I want to make sure that people know, by the way, who we have in here now. Corbin Bevan, number 33, and that is a guy that if you like defense, he's a hard guy to miss. And the reason why is because he does tons of things to make plays. You typically, what I see on the stat sheet the day after the game or the week after the game, whatever, when we get Coach Gray in here, you've made a ton of tackles. You played middle linebacker and did a terrific job. You moved into a position of leadership. Talk to me about being in that middle linebacker position. What are you doing out there on the field besides making tackles? Part of it, I know, is being sort of a coach on the field. Let's talk about that.
Coming in a position after two great middle linebackers like Cale Garrett and Max Bowers.
Ooh,
definitely some big shoes to fill there, but that's just kind of what I've always played my whole life. So I've always been kind of taught to do that position, and it's just out there making plays and making sure that everybody else everybody else out there on the field knows what they're doing, and just basically being the communicator between the coaches and the players.
Right. I have seen you move some people around periodically. Now, most people are in the right gap. They're right where they need to be. Are you seeing what are you seeing specifically when you've moved people around or you've tapped somebody on the hip? Let's see.
So every week we get all these scouting reports and stuff and get all this film, and I just try to make an emphasis to watch as much of that as possible. Try to get in like at least 3 hours a week of film, and usually just by seeing that stuff, by seeing the formations and things, I can see where they're going to try to run, and usually can adjust somebody there to help maybe so that even if they're watching that film that next break, they see that we have somebody there and they're not going to try to run that again.
Right, and probably a pretty smart move right there. And I noticed you've also played some offense, and one of the things that I used to tell Jim, I said, man, that guy's got a lot of speed, and we see you in there as a running back. We've seen people who thought that perhaps you were Garrett Laughlin, and they weren't, and I think that comes from Jim and I both have made that mistake. Let me just say, but it's interesting to see you in there playing offense. How much did you want to get in there and get that ball in your hands?
Oh man, every time offense go on the field, I'd always be standing there telling them like, I can go in if you need me to. Like, I'm here, I'm good. I just love being out there as much as I can, and any way I can help the team move that ball down the field or stop that ball being moved down the field, I want to be out there all the time. So getting the opportunity to play offense this year was definitely pretty great.
So let me ask an off-the-wall question. This isn't one that you would know, but how hard is it to concentrate in class on Friday when you know you have a game Friday night? Because you're going through all your stuff about, and I think, honestly, to be 100% fair, people take that a little bit for granted. They don't realize it's just like, I don't know, it would almost be like if you had a job interview or something very important coming up that night.
Good point.
Yet they want you to concentrate in class. I'm not making excuses. Everybody calm down.
The teachers are
like, I've got to write that guy a letter. But no,
these are student athletes.
Yeah. How difficult is it to, you've got to remain focused on your classwork because all you guys have really strong academics. How hard is it to stay focused on your classwork, but then stay focused on what you've got to do that night?
By the way, before you answer that, you don't have to incriminate yourself.
Yeah, don't say I wasn't paying attention or whatever. But
yeah, I've always been one to focus on academics first before going out in the field and stuff. And I think a big part of being able to focus in class the day of a game is just knowing that you're prepared for that game. And our coaches do such a great job of giving us all that material and stuff to make sure we're ready for the game. that on that game, like the day of the game, you're just excited. You're not really nervous too much about it. You just got little butterflies, but throughout the day, you're just kind of excited about it, and it doesn't really take too much control, especially for me, because I've just always that's just always what I've been doing. Just been playing football for so long that knowing that there's a game hasn't ever really spooked me too much in a class and distracted me from what I'm doing.
That's a really good answer.
I mean to tell you,
get him some points.
That was a leadership answer. And if anybody is talking to you from any area colleges or universities, if you'd like to get the video on that, we'll send it. But nicely done, sir. And this, frankly, I'm not a bit surprised. This is exactly what we've gotten to know you guys and the team in general as much as we can. But it's a sort of answer that I guess I would have anticipated. But I thought it was a great one, Jim. Well done. And thanks so much for being a part of that. By the way, I want to mention that while we have these five gentlemen here, hats off to every single player on the Kearney Bulldog football team. And, I would love to be able to have a show where we get every single one of you on here, but it's just not possible. We need to move along here. I think let's go to Corbin. Thank you so much. Great to get with you. Buster Lawrence is going to be here with us, and Buster, I know, was one of our Stables Player of the Week. And in fact, he and I talked, I think, briefly after, and I've forgotten which game it was. I think it was the game that was. We played on Saturday, and I played part of it on Friday and part of it on Saturday, and it just seems like it all runs together now, Jim, doesn't it? And
yeah, because I remember that game was interesting to say the least, because that was the one where, if you'll remember, we had the storm. I had hail damage on the car, but we also had the pictures with the whole field it looked like it snowed, but it was hail,
covered with hail,
and then we had to come back. Saturday morning, and Buster, I remember in the interview you said you actually felt better. You thought you felt better Saturday than you did Friday when the game started.
Yeah.
So
how on earth can you do that?
How did that happen?
I don't know. I don't know.
I think you mentioned that you were arrested, and it was kind of. I know what it was. It was so hot Friday night going in ahead of that storm.
Yeah.
And then, but you had, I think, one of your terrific nights.
Yeah.
One of the things we noticed about you, and we said it often, is that you were always in the right place at the right time. It seemed like you and that entire secondary did a real nice job. So talk a little bit about the preparation that you guys did, throughout the year, and how you improved as a secondary, because it was notable.
Yeah. Well, early on in the year, we had a coach change. We had Coach Wendell, one of my DB coach. He came in, and I got to know him really well, and he coached me up really well, and we got along really well. And secondary, we did good this year, and yeah.
Right, and I would imagine you guys. Let's see, I'm help me with all the players, because I know there's more than two corners. You've got mention those other guys for me.
Dawson Minor, our other corner, Tucker Studi, our robber, and then John Walters, our free safety.
Right. Yeah. Good play by all those guys.
So let me, I'm going to tell on myself a little bit, but I'm going to actually, did you know you got me in trouble?
No, I did not.
So what would happen is in these games, you were flying all over the field and you're just knocking balls down right and left. So I got to a point at one point, I didn't even look at the roster. I just glanced up and I was like, and there's Buster Lawrence again. It wasn't you. And so, I start getting phone calls. Oh, it's not Buster. And I was like, oh yeah, I get it. So, but no, you were everywhere. I'll ask one of the questions we asked a little bit ago. What's one of the big plays that stands out in your mind? I know which one stands out in my mind, but let's see if it's the same one.
My first game against Harrisonville, they ran that slant. And I jumped in front of it, and I was like, I couldn't believe it. I was like, oh, man, this is crazy.
This is going to be fun.
Yeah.
An interception is what you look for. Yeah.
See, I was thinking of the one, it was Grandview, and I think it was Saturday morning. I lose track because most games only last a day.
Yeah.
But I think you did the same thing, and that prevented them from scoring. If I remember right, we were in overtime.
Yeah, yep.
And that prevented that.
Yeah, it was like 4th and 10 or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, and they ran a wheel, and I broke off on the wheel and then intercepted that one.
Yeah. That was the one I remembered, because that and then you went on to win, and that turned out to be a really big thing.
Yeah.
And even though he's not a senior, that was the Breedlove 54-yard field goal that came up 53.8 or something like that.
Yeah.
Man, that was close.
Mm-hmm.
But I digress.
Well, that was a good play, though, and it's funny. I think about that. I thought about it last week during the Chiefs game.
I did too.
When we had
I wish Breedlove was out there. At least I'd know he'd make it.
Yes, exactly.
But Butker made it, so we're all good.
Yep,
we're good.
Absolutely. Buster, what are you going to do? You got sports going on this winter. You going to play basketball? What are you going to do?
I'm going to run track.
Nice.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
What?
I'm a triple jumper.
Oh wow,
Yep.
Outstanding. What's your longest down? Do you remember?
No, I don't remember right off the top of my head. I think it's like a 41.
I was going to ask if it's in the 40s. That's good.
Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely. Yeah. Very good.
Are you going to play college ball?
Yeah, I am. I'm going actually this weekend. I'm going to Washburn. I'm going on a game to visit up there.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Outstanding.
Yep. And then I just got invited to the Kansas City Senior Showcase thing. And they were talking to me about how if I go up there and I do their camp up there at Lincoln Prep, then there's a lot of coaches up there that are going to be looking at me. And so, yeah.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah. And it was kind of cool because they only invited like 100 athletes. I believe Jacob is another one that got invited to that.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah, we're going to have Jacob on in a few minutes. Yeah, he's and I know it's exciting to have colleges, come to you. I mean, what's that feel like to have him give you a phone call? Or?
It's a good feeling. I've never actually had a phone call or anything. I always get him on Twitter. They'll Twitter message me, and I always see that pop up, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's pretty cool. And
I was good.
Exactly, Jim.
Okay,
we're giving our age.
Where you're going?
Yes, back in my day, boy.
Mike and I used to get letters, like handwritten,
actually
typed letters, and they would say,
dear so and so.
Yeah,
I was a track and cross country guy, and I did get letters
with an envelope.
Yeah,
and all that. We didn't have. What's this?
But here's the deal: the Pony Express.
Twitter. I know.
Yes, the Pony Express carried the letters.
Exactly.
Just so you know.
Yeah. Do you know what the Pony Express is?
Oh, here we go.
Not my day.
Yeah, I'm not gonna. We're not gonna go into that. I digress.
You had a terrific year, though, Buster, and we sure appreciate it, and appreciate you being. I'm giving Stables some mileage here, by the way, but terrific being a Stables Player of the Week, and man, we had fun making those selections. It was never easy, because you see so much good play, and football's a team sport, and it's really hard to just select one person, but there are standout plays and things that when Jim makes the call, and I'm trying not to talk or scream in the background because I'm so excited because I'm a fan as much as the color commentator. So in any case,
just another off the wall question: Who's one of your, as you go forward, who's one of your mentors or somebody you really look up to, or and it can be anybody. It could be I don't know.
It could be your dad,
Garth Brooks, for all I know.
Yeah.
My brother probably.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
okay.
He played football in Kearney, actually. He was a punter and a linebacker. And he went on to play football at K-State to punt. And then went to the Saints for a little bit. And then now he's coaching over at Liberty North. So
outstanding.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
I did not know that.
Well, Buster, we got to move along because we've got so many we want to get on the air here. But thank you so much. A terrific job this year. Best of luck to you. And keep us... stay in touch, and I think we're friends on Facebook, so make sure let us know.
I'll send you some tickets to some games.
I like the sound of that. Yeah, so you see
because when he plays for the Saints or the Chiefs, I want to be able to go, I remember. Can you run as fast as Tyreek Hill?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, easy.
I'm just as fast as him.
Because that little, you've seen that little thing where he runs and catches from last week. That's what I expect out of you in about.
Area coaches are making a note of that. He runs a 4.2. Yes, yeah. All right, we're going to get Evan Miles up here next. Thank you, Buster.
Thank you, guys.
Terrific job. And Evan Miles is one of our. I think what did the coach call them, Jim? Earlier, he called them big uglies, didn't he? Did he?
I believe that was the term.
Is that? I don't know if that's a compliment or not. I mean, somebody calls me big and ugly. I mean, call me big, but don't call me ugly, But no, it's terrific having you here. I know Evan Miles, number 74, and you are along with the rest of that powerful offensive line. I think you guys can take credit for every single yard that Garrett Laughlin has to his credit.
I mean, he makes the plays. We just block for him.
See, that's with a sort of humility that we hear from these guys, and you're supposed. The answer to that is, yeah, you're darn right. We blocked for the guy, but it's interesting that each of you guys defer to the other, and in true team spirit. But what is it like to have a guy like Garrett Laughlin behind you when you know it's going to be a running play, or you know that you've scripted a number of running plays for that evening? How do you like, as an offensive lineman, blocking for a good runner?
I mean, even if you make a bad block, he can cut off of it, and it's just like gives you so much more confidence in yourself, because if you put yourself in the right position, you know he's going to read off of it and get the most yards out of it, and then we're getting the credit.
Right. Is that the sort of thing that comes with time in practice, or do you think it's just the talent and skill level of Garrett? How does that happen?
I think it's a little bit of both. Like, he learns off of us, because coming into the year, we had no idea who was going to start. Mm-hmm. We had some ideas, and then injuries happened. And so just building the chemistry with him, and then, the talent, he just has natural talent. Like, You can't deny it.
Yeah. Easy to see.
Yeah.
What are some of the workouts that you had as an offensive lineman, and coming in? I know that an offensive line is a unit, and you really, that's maybe one of the toughest things, even if you've got a couple of talented guys there. You still have to play as a unit as an offensive line. How did you work out and practice to get to that level with the other players?
So, Coach Backus does this thing that all the offensive linemen hate, and we go push the sled. And it's him standing on a metal sled and us pushing it across the grass field. And it's just 6 of us pushing him as far as we can. And it makes your legs burn. You'll hate it, but it just makes you better.
No doubt about that. What does he say at a time like that? Anything you can say on the radio and repeat on the radio that he might say?
I plead the fifth.
Oh, that's awesome. No, and spoken like a true football player, and sounds to me like spoken like a true football coach as he rides along on the sled. So, yeah, what's he going to do during the offseason now? He doesn't have anybody to push him around.
I know. I don't know.
I know. Yeah, no, that's great. We're getting ready to take a break. Is that right, Brian? We have got Senior Week going on here at 102.7 FM. It is the Coach Gray Show, but we have 5 of the best players that we can think of, not necessarily out of this whole team, but just good all-around guys, and we're happy to have them. Stay with us. We'll be right back. You're listening to the Coach Gray Show.
Programming heard on KPGZ is being underwritten and supported by these local businesses.
Since opening our doors, TDR Auto Plaza has made major changes with a full-service department open to the public, and we have brought in more late model and low-mileage trucks and cars for our customers. We know there's a lot of places you can buy a vehicle, but we're your hometown dealership, and we're there for you when you need us most. We've been helping our neighbors drive dependable vehicles and save money year after year. TDR Auto Plaza, 801 North Country Avenue in Kearney. The phone number is 816-903-3300. TDR, your hometown dealer, changing the way used cars are sold.
So we really want Porter's Kearney Body Shop to be your true neighborhood body shop.
Yeah, but most people have heard that before. What's different about Porter's?
Your vehicle is a big investment. We know that. When something needs fixing, you want to know it's going to be done right and that you're getting the right deal too.
So how do I know Porter's is more than just words?
You'll get neighborhood service because we are your neighbors. Whatever the make or model, our job is to keep you on the road, not in the shop.
Porter's Kearney Body Shop, 104 West Main Street in Kearney, 816-628-5621. Porter's, where customers have been driving away happy since 1982.
State Farm, Kathy here.
Hey, it's Mike. My team just pulled off the biggest upset ever.
Nice, Mike.
And some fans are getting crazy. They even flipped over a car.
Whoa.
Turns out it's my car, though.
Oh.
But I don't want to be upset right now. I want to know State Farm's going to take care of this, right?
We got you covered, Mike.
Yes! Woo!
Go with the one that's here to help life go right. State Farm.
Tracy Tucker, State Farm at 751 Watson Drive, Suite D in Kearney, Missouri. 816-903-5550.
Football players know linemen are vital to the team. We know that too. Platte Clay Electric Cooperative's mission is to empower communities and energize life with safe and reliable energy. And a vital part of our team working to make this happen includes our dedicated linemen. From building new lines and services to restoring your power, even in the worst storm conditions, our trained linemen are vital to the success of your cooperative. Platte Clay Electric Cooperative. For more information about our services, you can visit us online at www.pcec.coop.
And welcome back to the Coach Gray Show. We've got Senior Day in the Coach Gray Show today, and we are visiting at the moment. We've got Evan Miles sitting here, and I'm going to check my roster here. He's number 74, but I knew that. But I think it's funny that I actually put a roster together here, just even though you're not wearing your jerseys.
Just to make sure.
I'll make sure, yeah, that I got names and numbers, but there are no numbers today. Evan, how do you think... football is, as Coach Gray had mentioned earlier, there are aspects of the best team sport in the world, in my opinion. There are aspects of football that carry over into life, and I realize you're just embarking on that life. Are you 18 yet?
No, I'm still 17.
See, not even 18, and it goes fast. Let me just warn you.
I remember those days.
Yeah, exactly. I don't.
I rode the horse
right,
to school.
Jim. Yeah.
And got off the stagecoach.
Let's see if we can talk. Yeah, crickets, baby, crickets. So just thinking about that, not what Jim said, but where do you see football applying in your life down the road as you look down? And I know I'm told you're the academic one, so I'm expecting a good answer on this one. How do you see it applying to your life in the future?
So I just see it like dedication and accountability. Like, whenever you make a mistake, you can't blame it on other people. It's all you. And then dedication, like you just got to stick with things, put everything you got into it, know your passions and do them.
There's a reason these guys call you the brains of the group, I guess. And I understand you've got a very high ACT score too. Do you care to give that out?
Yeah, actually I have a 35 on my ACT.
That is crazy.
I feel dumber just sitting here.
I know it. I mean,
never felt as inadequate as I do right now.
That's impressive. So you love hearing that. And what's funny to me is I'm seeing more and more. You think of the offensive linemen, you think these guys are just kind of the big grunts, and they really don't use words. They just grunt to each other. And you're not that guy at all. And I'm seeing that more and more in the NFL. I mean, it's these guys that shoot. I mean, the Chiefs have a medical doctor as one of their guards. I mean, for crying out loud.
Yeah, it's all about, using your smarts, knowing what you can do with it.
I think that's right. And do you see that in your football play? Do you see ways to use, I guess, intellect in terms of what you do in blocking schemes and things like that?
Oh, yeah. So I'm kind of an undersized guy. I don't weigh very much, really tall, lanky. So I use my brain just to outsmart the other people. If I can get them in the position that I want them to without me having to work too hard, it's even better.
Yeah. Wow. Well, I mean, and it shows. I mean, obviously, you guys have had a terrific year, and just really, really proud of the job that you did, all of you guys up front on that offensive line, and we loved calling their names whenever we could. It's just easy to get overlooked. I mean, how does it feel to be one of those guys, the unsung heroes in the team?
I mean, you don't get the recognition, but you don't really ask for it either. That comes with the job.
Yep. So another classy answer from a Kearney football player.
No more questions, Your Honor.
I know it exactly. Well, thank you so much for being with us, Evan. We want to bring who we got next? Jacob Stevens. I've been wanting to talk to this guy. I think Jacob was one of the first guys that I spoke with on. We talked to Garrett, I think, for our player of the week at the beginning of the season. And then I know that we talked to Jacob later on, and I think there was you had a couple of long kick returns, and I believe one was for a touchdown, or maybe two of them were for touchdowns. It was really unusual. And guess what? Special teams matter, and that was very cool. I think that was when there was just no way. Plus, I think there was another terrific catch you had. May have been a week or two later, and I think that was that follow-up game, that Saturday game, where you were able to just put your meat hooks out there and just pull this ball right out of the sky, and you were absolutely draped. I mean, you were so well covered that no way he catches that ball, and you got a foot in bounds. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me on.
Well, it's good to have you here. We were talking with the other guys, and you were in here to hear it, but we were talking a little bit about being recruited and having folks, area colleges and universities. You said, I know there's been, you had spoken with the folks up at Northwest Missouri State.
Oh, yeah. I went up there, I think it was the first week on a game day visit, and they loved me up there, and I love it up there.
Wow, great.
And I've been to Missouri Western, Washburn, and Morningside, and Morningside's offered me already.
Oh, wow. Outstanding. Yeah. You just love that. You know what? As a parent who put two kids through college, that ain't chump change. And for all you parents out there, that's terrific. I mean, you are saving yourself a ton of money if you can make that happen. But the other thing, too, is I know you guys spend a couple of you've actually made a history of playing up there. The Kearney Bulldogs have been playing up there during the summers at Northwest Missouri State. What's that program all about? Tell me about the history of that.
It's just helping the team bond together and just seeing what we have for the upcoming season.
Now, do you feel like that's? I realize the value of that as a team, as a football team, but I have to believe there might be a coach or two standing around and perhaps overseeing, and just to see if there might be someone there that they might want to recruit.
Yeah, it's always helpful for a little recruiting. If you got a good season last year or a surpriser, they're always watching. So don't think that you're never being seen. Just always put in the work.
Right. We don't normally talk about injuries on this show, but the season's over, so we can say whatever we want. And you had, unfortunately, you were out, and we missed you. When we didn't see number 11 down there on the field, it was very difficult for us. I cried a little bit. Jim consoled me, but what's it like to have to sit out with an injury?
It's heartbreaking, honestly.
Yep.
I've never really had this experience before, but I think it was very helpful for me to see how I can overcome things and make the best out of each situations.
Another good answer right there. That's that one of those metaphors for life, right, Jim?
That's very good. Okay, let's go a little bit behind the scenes here. So, tell us a little bit, without giving up too much. What when you guys go in at halftime, what does the coach say that gets you motivated, and the guys over there are just laughing? So this ought to be good. No pressure.
Usually we separate offense and defense, and the defensive coaches talk to the defense, and I'm on the offensive side, and our coach hypes us up a little bit. And sometimes when we're behind, we get a little extra motivational speech, if you know what I mean.
I think I know exactly what you mean.
Did you see who just popped his head in the door?
Coach Gray just stuck his head in the door.
He's like, "Oh, we're not going to talk about that."
It sometimes can be. Let's put it this way: what if you're winning? How does that coach motivation at halftime, how does that change versus when you're losing?
When we're ahead, we just got to think it's 0-0. We got to come out strong. But also when we're down, we got to think it's 0-0. We got to come back. It's a new half. We got to keep fighting, never give up, NGU.
I've heard that. Yeah, a couple of times this year from Coach Gray. First time he said it, I was thinking like new, like GNU, you know, that animal that looks like a sheep or a goat. And I was thinking, wait a minute, I don't know what the heck he's talking about.
I don't know what the heck you're talking
yes,
about.
You do.
Right now,
here's the guy that can drive a train right off of a track telling me that. I tell you.
You lost me on that one.
Yeah, well, you're easy to lose, that's for sure. What about winter sports? You play basketball, don't you?
Yes, I play basketball.
And you've already started, I bet.
No, I'm taking it off because I'm letting my knee heal up 100%.
Of course, you don't want to mess that up going into
it. You're going to take it off the whole year? Or
no,
just
a couple weeks. I'll be back.
Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to clarify.
Right on.
Make sure we knew where we were.
And then I'm probably going to run track in the spring to help me get faster for football.
Outstanding. What events do you think?
Probably the 200 and 400, and I might do long jump because I'm pretty good at that.
Wow. All right. Yeah, I like a jumper. You got the fast twitch muscle fiber then. Yep.
So let's ask you the question that we asked a couple other people. What was one play, because you had quite a few, but what was one play this year that really sticks out in your mind that you were really excited about?
Probably the second game, the Staley game on the opening kickoff where they kicked it to me, and I
that was it.
Had my amazing blockers, Garrett,
right,
KJ, Tucker, and all them, and they just made a hole for me, and I saw it and just ran right through it. And then I felt the guy behind me trying to catch me, and I was like, I just got to beat him. 10 more yards, let's go.
You and I talked about that. Now it's all coming back to me. That right, it was the Staley game, and in fact, we were well in that game too.
Yeah, it was a close game. The score doesn't reflect how we played.
Absolutely, and in fact, I remember you telling me, because I couldn't. We weren't sure who made that block. We were busy watching you take this ball to the house, and somebody came up and just leveled the defender, and it was Garrett Laughlin.
He actually did it right before halftime too on the second kick return. He just leveled their kicker. I was like, oh man.
That is brutal. Oh man. What else here? There's a couple of things. Go ahead, Jim.
I was going to ask. So how does it make you feel when the other teams, when they kick off, they do all this weird stuff just to keep it away from you? How does that make you feel?
It's a little upsetting, but you got to understand they're doing that for a reason.
Yeah, they want to win.
Because there was a lot of times that they would accidentally kick it out of bounds, or because they're trying to keep it away from you. Yeah, and
it's frustrating.
Yeah, we made the comment a few times. We were like, well, if you're going to keep doing that, you might as well just risk it and kick it to him, because this is not working. But no, I just wondered how that makes you feel when.
Yeah, it's a little frustrating.
Hey, I got one here, Jim. Forgetting points, forgetting wins or losses. Who's the toughest team you faced this year?
Probably all around Staley.
Yeah. Talk about that team.
Their offensive line is huge.
Right.
They had like 5 running backs that rotated in, so they weren't tired at all.
We noticed.
And then they had one really speedy wide receiver who's probably going to go places. He's a tough dude. And then their D-line, they had a kid that's actually committed to Kansas, and he was like 6'4", like 260, and just all muscle.
Now, you guys competed with them.
Yeah.
That wasn't really what
it was 19-19 at halftime. It was anyone's game.
And
it was still close in the end of the third quarter, too.
It was. What does that say about the Kearney Bulldog football program?
We're just a tough team to play.
I think
we're going to get everyone's best game each week.
Yeah. No, I think that's absolutely right.
And did you come up through the whole program through the?
Yep, I started in Pop Warner when I was like 7 years old.
So how important do you think that is for the guys that are coming through now? How important do you think it is that they go through that program and then all the way up to?
You just got to understand what Kearney football really is and play football with your brothers and people that you may not know, and just new bonds as a team and just grow as a player.
But so what advice would you give the guys that are now coming up to fill your shoes? Because you're obviously senior moving on, but of course you moved into that position. What's one of those things that you're like, man, if someone would have told me this, I would have appreciated it. What's some advice you would give to the new guys?
It goes by too fast. Just don't take anything for granted. You always got to grind, even if the coaches aren't looking. If you're on that scout team, you just got to keep busting it. Because I was in that situation my sophomore year, and I realized halfway through the year, man, I just got to grind, because next year is going to be my year. Just got to keep busting and give the guys that are starting a good look so they can compete and do their best on Friday night.
I got to tell you that when you said it goes by too fast, listen, life goes by too fast. And Jim and I are living proof of that. We used to be in high school. And just absolutely. Do you
guys remember when Grover Cleveland was president?
Here we
That's
go.
when we were in high school.
Oh, man. Can you cue the crickets again, Brian? Oh, my goodness. Listen, I cannot thank you guys enough, and it is an absolute pleasure being able to just visit with every single one of you, and the time that, what little time we had to talk to you, either, in post-game interviews or even just sort of following your careers through, Coach Gray. It's a pleasure to work and be around good citizens. And I know you guys are all going to be very successful at what you do. It shows. I can tell you're winners. You're winners in life. Best of luck to all of you. And I hope that you'll keep the radio station in mind and send us Facebook notifications. If you're not a friend, friend us. And send us information. Let us know what you're doing. We want to make sure that we keep track of you because I think all of those things are newsworthy. You're moving on to bigger and better things now, but enjoy the rest of your senior year. Thanks so much for being with us. How close are we, Brian, to wrapping it up? Pretty close here. I hate seeing it end. Jim, how about you? Any final words for these guys?
Yeah, no, I think we've said it before, but every year, I mean, it was great watching this team.
Yeah.
And we probably are two of the biggest fans
because
we stay year over year. But it was fun watching them and enjoyed every minute of it. Looking forward to next year. Sorry to see the seniors go, but it happens every year. But good luck to you guys. All of you, as you guys go into wherever it is you go, nothing. I mean, great. It was just fun. It's fun, and I'll tell you what, it does go too fast because we were doing our pre-production stuff. It seems like yesterday, and that was back in June, I think, when we started that. And so and it's over for the football season.
Right.
Although the Bulldog Radio Network has basketball season come up, so join those guys. Mike and I are off till next football season, but
Andy Martins will be calling the games. And he does a terrific job.
They do a great job over there on the basketball side, so looking forward to that. But yeah, good luck to you guys, and then all the seniors. Actually, like Mike said, we wish we could have had everybody in here, but we just can't. But great to see the seniors moving on, and good luck to you guys, and stay in touch.
Yep.
We'll be looking forward to seeing all those names on those NFL jerseys.
You betcha. Yep. Thanks so much, everybody, and thank you for being with us today on the Coach Gray Show. It's been a lot of fun. Thank you for all of our sponsors who have helped us through the Bulldog Radio Network during football season, and we hope you'll help us out during basketball season. You've been listening to the Coach Gray Show. We'll see you next time with the basketball season, right, Brian? Yeah, so get ready. Stay with us all through the sports. And thanks so much for being with us.